Hi everyone, and welcome to Valley Crafty Corner. I have a scrapbook process video to share with you today, and this is using the Studio Calico Neverland kit, and I also have the Hook and Tink add-ons. Kind of excuse my voice. I had a mom kind of a day where I had kids who weren't exactly listening, so I had um, raised my voice to the point where I think I've exasperated my voice a little bit. And I'm sure everybody's had those mom moments where, it's just been a long day. Let's just say that. But anyway, getting on to the scrapbook process video. I chose this ledger paper, and it's from Pebbles, and it's from their basics line. And honestly, I'm not a huge orange fan, and certain colors of blue I have a hard time with. And there was two pieces of paper in the Studio Calico kit that were both from the Pebbles Basics line, and they were both this kind of like blue dot and then orange dot, and then the back side would have like the coordinating ledger paper, and I had a really hard time using it. So I decided to use the orange one as a background just because I knew I would have a harder time with the orange than I would with the blue. So that was kind of the way I was going. I also took those kind of like arrow pattern pieces, and that's from the All Boy collection from Echo Park, and it's by Lori Whitlock. And so I cut them into strips so that they would look like arrows, and I was thinking about maybe like having them point in towards the picture, but I wasn't really liking how that was working. Oh, and that blue piece of paper, that was the other kind of like paper that kind of coordinated with that orange piece, and they're both from the Pebbles. So anyway, I think they're called Blue Dot, and I think one's called Apricot Dot. But anyway, so anyway, I was thinking about using those arrows to point towards the picture, and I kind of didn't like how it was looking so plain. So I actually took that blue dot piece of paper and made it go straight down the page, and I liked that a lot more so. So I decided to go with that route, kind of use that as an anchor point for the picture. I brought in that green just because it matched the arrows, but I don't end up using it. I punched it a couple times, but doesn't end up working at all. So here I just am variegating the length of these arrow pieces, and I want them to point in towards the picture, rather than it being kind of like a starburst arrow pattern. I like the fact that it was a little bit more linear. Just the starburst pattern just wasn't working. And then here I am just kind of like figuring out what kind of layers I want to put underneath this picture. And I really like this kind of really large chevron print from Amy Tangerine Yes Please collection. And I also had these, I think it's Hey Boy stickers from Basic Gray, and I do use I think maybe two of them, not too many. Like I think I'm pretty sure for sure two, possibly three. But anyway, I used that blue Amy Tangerine Yes Please paper as the mat for the photo, and then I'm going to kind of like cut the back side of that the arrow paper, like those strips, those kind of like arrow looking strips, and I cut it kind of like in a very large triangle. I'm not sure, but it's like a really wide on one side, and then it goes narrow on the other, and I wanted to kind of use that to anchor the top part of my layout. So anyway, I was just trying to figure out the placement on that, but I think I changed it up a little bit. I think I switched it around so that the blue is a little wider on the left side and the orange is wider on the right side. I can't remember. And then anyway, I had these little pieces. It's the 3x4 pieces. The name of the paper is it's 3x4 journal cards by Echo Park, and it's that All About a Boy. And I cut out this kind of like spinner card looking thing and going to use it behind the photo as a layering piece, and then I cut the play part off of it and I tucked that underneath, and then this tag piece was actually one of the 3x4 pieces, and I just cut that out as another layer. So here I'm just kind of monkeying around with that top kind of header piece, I guess you would call it. Just gonna monkey around with that placement of it a little bit. And just going to some of the stickers to see what kind of embellishment I want to add to the photo. And I really fuss with this layout. I'm getting to the point where I'm fussing too much. I'm overthinking the layout, and I gotta get past that. I need to kind of just drop the whatever I'm doing, just put it down on the page. Don't think too much into it, and I'm thinking far too much into it. So here I'm just pulling out a whole bunch of supplies to see what I want to use, and again I'm thinking far too much into this layout, and I like how the layout turned out, but it probably could have cut down at least half an hour of just the plain old fussing. And here I'm looking to see what I can use for kind of like a little bit more of a layer behind that photo. And just kind of clearing everything away. I really like this orange piece, but I don't think I end up using it. And I don't end up using that memo piece either. I kind of liked how it looked, but there was no red going on anywhere else in the layout, so I didn't have, I think that's what I was doing. I think I was looking to see if I had like anything else red in the kit that we got, and I didn't, and we didn't have anything else red, so I felt like it was going to be a little hard to find anything, and I really honestly don't have a lot of red stuff in my stash. Like, I have pink galore, I have blue galore, I have browns galore, but I don't have a lot of red. I think it's because I have a hard time using it. Red and purple are two colors I have a hard time using, and yellow as well. And I think I was just trying to see if I had anything else, and I didn't. So here again, just adding another layer of that. It's the Amy Tangerine. I think it's called Perfect or Priority. I think it's called Perfect. Anyway, it's that like wood grainish looking piece. And here again, just going back over the layers, adding in, I tried adding in that Today piece that I had tried using on a previous layout, and it didn't work out too well, so that won't end up staying there. And monkeying around a little bit more with some of those die cut pieces, but I do end up settling on one. And I like that rad. This is like a printable piece, and I really like that rad, and I end up using it. And I have that brown washi tape, and it's like a brown wood grain, and I love that washi tape, and you would think I would have used it a lot more, and I don't know if it's because maybe it didn't really coordinate. I felt it didn't coordinate very well with some of the papers that were in the kit. I did use it on a couple layouts, but I've used actually, and I'm really surprised about it, is that Color Me Happy washi tape that is kind of like got that little rainbow stripe up on the top, and it's like white on the bottom, and it like places where you could write in, and I've actually used that more than I have the other washi tapes actually. And I thought about backing that U piece with this wood grain washi, and I don't actually end up using this U piece because I screwed it up. You can see over here in the top left corner, I tried doing some misting with it and I totally bombed. So I don't actually end up using that piece at all, and that's why it's not in the finished layout. So I went with this piece that says now, and I like how it turned out a little better. Not the fact, I wish I was hoping to use the U piece, but I screwed up. I could have printed out or cut out another one on my silhouette, but I wanted to kind of stay a little truer to the kit and show you guys at the end what I used and what I didn't use. So I didn't want to cut out another one. So I used this one that says now, and it does fit well with the journaling and the layout. So I guess, you know, with that being the hindsight, it did work out probably for the best. So I'm still backing that die cut piece with that wood grain washi tape, and like I said before, I had punched out some of that green paper with that like a little label punch from Stampin' Up, and I just didn't feel like I wanted to waste it, so I just backed the wood grain washi tape onto that little green piece just so that I could use it up. And here I'm just going to start layering pieces down and just kind of get the feel of the layout going. And because it's super thin on that blue piece, I used that this and that paper just because I could get into or get the glue onto that thinner strip and make sure it stuck down. So that's the only reason why I was using that. Generally, I've been using my ATG gun and just using that little this and that tape just for like the smaller embellishments and stuff like that, just so I could stretch it out a little farther. And it's pretty good tape so far. I think I probably would just keep it for that purposes only, just for the smaller pieces. That's my opinion. I like it. I just think it's too expensive for me to keep buying the refills of it. So here I'm just monkeying around with some more of these placements, and I decided I wanted to put some more of those arrows up on the top left. And here I'm just adding some of these other little sticker pieces to the top right. But I am going to go on to these little arrow pieces and attach those down. And I got rid of the orange just because there was, or sorry, not the orange, the green. I got rid of the green because there wasn't a lot of green in the other arrows, so I just didn't want to make it feel like it didn't fit. So I just kind of cut that green part off. And here I'm just going and finding some more and just kind of staggering the length of them. And my journaling is going to go all on that ledger piece over there. So I kind of like how the arrows are pointing to the picture and then the arrows will be pointing to the journaling. I like that idea. And just kind of adding that spinner piece. And I decided to cut that spinner piece in half. And I'm not sure if I do it now or if I do it later. I just felt like it needed to be divided up between the two sides of the photo. So that's where I did that, and just adding some more glue to make sure it sticks down. And that little die cut piece didn't really want to stick too much, so I had to really give it with the glue just to make sure it stayed. And just adding some more of these pieces, and I had to move it up a little bit because that play was just a little too far down the page. I wanted to make sure that the layers on that photo had a little room to breathe. And I pop dotted that rad piece up just so it had a little bit of dimension to it. And as I had mentioned on a video before, I'm not sure why, but I didn't get a good cut on these die cut pieces for some reason. When you do like the trace feature, it didn't want to do a perfect circle. I'm not sure why. I've rectified that problem now. I had to physically go in and make like an actual circle around that piece, but it'll be fixed for next time. But this time it cut really jagged. So, but I did end up using it anyway. I just trimmed around a little bit. And here I take this flare badge, and I'm just going to layer it over top of that spinner piece just to give it a little bit of dimension. And here I'm going to attach these arrow pieces down. And just kind of like how that's looking. And then I'm going to attach the ones on the top left as well. And I think I'm just going to fuss with the placement. Yeah, here I'm just fussing with the placement of how these arrows are going to sit and which one goes where, of course. So, and then I'm just going to trim off the excess, and then when I come back, it's going to be all pretty and everything else. And you can see me cutting something, and what I did is I actually went over to my sewing machine and I stitched down each one of these arrows down the middle, and I just used a straight stitch. I didn't want to add no zigzags or anything like that, just because of the arrows being straight and linear. I didn't want to add any zigzags to them. And then what I do is I just kind of like lift my arrows up like with my fingers just to add a little bit of dimension to them. And I've seen lots of people do this effect before, and I really like how it turns out. It's pretty cool. It just gives your pages a little bit of shadow and depth, and I really like that. So I'll probably be doing that on a few more layouts. So just giving it a good look over again to see what I want to do. And what I'm having a hard time with right now is it feels a little, especially this photo, it feels a little lost in a couple corners of the layout. I feel like it needs to be kind of bumped up, or have some of those little those awkward spaces filled up. So here I come in with some of these labels, and I'm going to be kind of fussing quite a bit here with some of these placements. And a lot of things kind of get shuffled around just to get everything situated right. So that side over there that I'm fussing with, that is actually going to stay the way it is. But the top part of the photo where it has the now die cut, that is not going to stay like that. And I'm just going back, and here's where I'm going to fuss with that little piece there, just because I know it's not sitting well with me. It just doesn't feel like it goes. And I ran out of tape out of that little piece, so I had to change it. But I figured, well, I'll just keep going. So I just left it, and then here I'm gonna come in with some labels, and it still felt like it was a little off. Like it didn't feel like it had something to ground that photo to it. To the layout. So I'm still kind of having a hard time figuring out what it needs. So I add this washi tape underneath, so it kind of looks like it's coming out from where that now is, and I like how that looked a little better. I tried putting it under the photo on the bottom, but it just didn't go very well, so I don't, oh no, I do actually end up keeping it there. I can't remember what I did. I'm looking at my layout and I'm like, oh yeah, I did do that. Anyway, here I'm going to come in with some journaling. So you're going to see I've really did a lot of journaling on this layout. This layout is about my nephew, and when I went out at Christmas time, he hadn't seen me for probably about 3 years, and he had a hard time adjusting to Auntie. We kind of had a little bit of a clash going on, and um, not that he didn't like me or anything like that. I just think he wasn't sure, you know, who I was. I think he was kind of like having a hard time with it. And he's 7, 8 years, yeah, he's 7 years old. And I think he just had a hard time figuring out why we were there. Because he's never seen us for so long. He's so little when we saw him last. And anyway, it really hurt my feelings that he didn't really want to have anything to do with me. And so I had to talk with my brother-in-law about it, and I think he talked to Andrew, and then after he talked to Andrew, he was all good the next day. He wanted to go for snow machine rides with Auntie. He wanted to show me stuff. He wanted to watch movies with me. And so I think we came to an understanding. And then when we had to go leave, he came up to me and he gave me a hug, and he says, "I'm gonna miss you when you're gone." And it really kind of broke my heart that, you know, I had to, you know, say goodbye when we were just starting to get along. So that's what this layout is about. I think it's important to scrapbook not only, pardon me, to scrapbook not only the good times, but maybe the difficult times, maybe a sad time or a stressful time. I think it's important to document some of these things that go on, like the everyday things, you know, such as life. It's not all roses and fun. Life is hard and tough. So I think it's important to kind of document some of these tougher times and how you get past them. And this was kind of one of those little hurdles in life where I had a hard time with not my nephew not really wanting having anything to do with me, and he kind of overcame that, and then we had so much fun together. So it was kind of nice to journal about, you know, a triumph, so to speak, to get a, you know, to be more close to my nephew. So, but anyway, back to the layout. You can kind of see I added some more stickers at the bottom of that layout, and I added some more journaling, and I just wanted to note on there that he was like what toy he was playing with, because it's kind of hard to see it in the photo, and it's a Transformer, and he got it at Christmas time, and he loves Transformers. So I just wanted to note that on the photo as well. And then I had stamped the date at the bottom part of the photo underneath those arrows, and I had accidentally turned the stamp the wrong way, so I stamped it upside down. So to kind of like cover that part up, I put the date over the part where the date was upside down, and then all you could see was, I think it's hearts. Yeah, and the hearts are upside down, and that's okay. You can't really tell what they are anyway. But I covered that part up. And then I added at the top there, it says remember, and I added this little blue, I think it's like a corduroy brad. So that kind of added a little bit of dimension up at the top. I also added one of those little buttons that came from the kit, and it's the Hey You from Basic Gray. Oh, here I'm just showing you a close-up of what I was doing, which is weird because I never usually do close-ups in the middle, but I guess I did today. Anyway, I added a button to that little spinner part at the bottom right of the photo, and I am going to add some string to that later, but for right now, I just leave it as is. So here I'm using these bingo chip letters, and I'm going to really fuss with these, probably to the point of annoyance. But I put them down, and then I realized they needed to be higher, and then I'll fuss with them some more. And see here, I knew they needed to be over more, and then I'll move them over, and then I'll move them up. But anyway, my goodness, I should never fuss this much. See, here now I'm moving them up because I knew I wanted to have, like it's going to say Andrew issue. That's going to be my title, so I knew I had to have room for the issue, and I started putting these down in there. These are like those basic gray, super tiny stickers, and they were just too small. I wanted to have a little bit of a bigger like text underneath that Andrew part, just to kind of draw your attention into it. So I kind of go to my stash, and I know, oh my goodness, she went to her stash too. She didn't go into the kit, but there wasn't really the colors that I was looking for. So I went to my stash. So forgive me, I used some of it. And actually I found I've been trying to use some older products in with these kits just to kind of use up some of the products that I have been using. But here I've gone to the washi tape, and this is that Color Me Happy tape, and I flipped it upside down so that the rainbow part was on the bottom. You can't really tell it's upside down unless you're really looking at that number part. Like it'll say number, and it's upside down, you can tell, but it doesn't bother me. So here I take some of these 9 to 5 orange mini market stickers, and I spell out issue, and it just brought out a little bit more of the orange as another kind of like focus color. So I mean, there is quite a bit of blue going on, but not so much of the orange, so I wanted to bring that out a little bit more. And here's where I'm going to add some string to that button. And I just had some yellow embroidery floss on this needle and thread, so I just decided to go with it and just use the yellow that was there. There is the yellow in that Yeah flare badge, so I thought it would be okay. And there's yellow in some of the other pieces, like in the arrows, there's kind of like this mustardy yellow, so I thought it would be okay to use it anyway. And now I went to my stash, and we got these arrows and geotags last month. And here I'm taking some of this Hero Arts, I think it's called Orange Soda. Yeah, it's called Orange Soda. And I'm inking up the arrows in that just to add a little bit more orange to it. And that's actually what I used to stamp the date at the bottom of the layout there as well. Was this Orange Soda. And I think I said that was from Hero Arts, but if I didn't, it's from Hero Arts. So I just kind of pointed the arrows in towards the word that says issue, because that was kind of like there was an issue, so I kind of wanted to draw a little bit more focus into that. So here's the close-ups of the layout, and stay tuned for the photos. I know it doesn't show it in the layout, but I'll probably show it in the pictures, but I did stitch a machine stitch across the Andrew, as well as, oh no, that's it, just across the word Andrew for the title. So watch for that in the close-ups, and thanks for watching. Bye.